When I first arrived here, I saw that in the tourist office there were wonderful maps, but there was a very tiny map of the palace on the large map that tourists had, and everybody would be walking around looking at this tiny spot to see where the palace was. And so I talked to the tourist director and I said, why isn't there a map of the palace? He said, I don't know. I said, well, I would like to do one, but I'd need to sell it, to advertise it, and since nobody knows me, if I do it and you like it, can I tell people to call you and say that I'm a good guy and that this map will actually be produced? And he said, if you do the map, this will be a great gift for the city. So I took 6 months with friends. We walked in the palace, we documented all the streets, and we did the first real walking map of the palace. And I went to sell ads in it, and every single person I talked to said, well, you're new, you're an American, who do you know in Croatia? And I said, oh, Vedran Matosic, the tourist director. And so they called Vedran. Vedran said, yes, he's an American, the map is great, perfect. And so I sold enough to print the map, and the next year it was so successful it became a newspaper. So it started out as a map, then it became an 8-page paper, and now it's 16 pages. Well, I vacationed here and loved it. I spent 10 years in Russia working in a nonprofit organization, and my wife and I married in Russia, and we decided to leave, and I thought about London or Spain or some other place, and I said, gee, you know, Croatia is pretty wonderful. I think you'll like it. She came here, she loved it, and so we decided to stay in Split, and we've been here almost 7 years. And we just bought a house in Klis. I think the country is extraordinary in many ways. It has just so much to offer, not just the culture and the history and the people and the topography and the sea. My big worry is that as it gets more and more discovered, there's more and more energy to maximize the potential. And my worry is that it can be overrun. I think it's happening in Dubrovnik. I think there are lots of boats, there's lots of people, and we're starting to hear some complaints that it's just too crowded. Now in Split we're building extra terminals for ships, more hotels. We all like it the way it is. We want more, but we like it the way it is. One of my favorite places to go, and I think it's a good example for Croatia, for Split, is the island of Bermuda. And everyone loves going to Bermuda because it never really changes. Because the government says, we're only going to allow this many planes, this many boats, this many people. Why? We're going to give you $1 billion. We'll build you a new airport. We'll build you... Why do people come here? Because it's beautiful, peaceful, not overcrowded. So I hope that Split remains the same and doesn't get so crowded that we look over our shoulder and we say, what happened? We grew too fast, too much. So it's going to be a delicate balance. Well, my wife and I are permanent residents. I'm sure we'll become citizens. We just bought our first house, so we're looking forward to living in a house here and bringing our friends here and enjoying more and more of the country. We've discovered only parts of it. We'd like to go to sort of the parts we haven't been to, but the more I travel in the country, the more people I meet. It's just a spectacular country. I really enjoy it thoroughly.
Hvala lijepo na razgovor, želim vam još uspjeha.
Hvala vam.